All right, so today we're looking at this little Coleman AT125UT, something we got from Tractor Supply. And I tell you what, we got it for a really good deal because there was something wrong with it. I got it running, we've been having a lot of fun with it, but it got rained on really heavily the last couple of days, and now there's something else wrong with it. And I'll show you what that is. When you turn the key on, there's supposed to be a display right there. There's no display. And then to start it, you have to squeeze the brake and then put this in the run position. I actually wrote run so I could remember that. And you push the button and we got nothing. Now, when this was not running, I should say not being used, I actually took the key out and I stashed it so that kids didn't turn the key on and drain the battery. And I did test the battery. It's under the seat. I'll reach down here and pop the seat. See, there's the battery. I tested the battery and the battery is fully charged. I checked the inline fuse here. There's actually a spare fuse in there, and the fuse is in good shape. So that being said, parts for this thing are not expensive, and I thought, well, maybe it's the ignition. Literally the ignition switch. So we're going to pull that apart. I got a new one. I'll show you how to get that out of there and get this thing fully fixed. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is access the wiring, and that wiring is under this plastic panel. To get to that, what we're going to do is we're going to get down here and here, and that one's already broken and missing, not by me, in there. So 3 bolts, 10 millimeter. Take that rack off. Now, the first one I took out over here is longer than the one I just took out here in the middle, so probably makes a difference when you put it back together. And this one as well is a long one, so the 2 on the outside are long, the 2 in the middle are short. And that just moves aside. Now what we're going to do, there's a Phillips head screw right there and another one on the other side. So let's get those out of there. It does help to get the handlebars out of the way. It's actually raining a little bit right now, so as you can tell. Alright, so now we've got the 2 screws out. We're going to move this whole piece of plastic forward and it unlocks. And there we are. We're looking at all the wires. And over here by the ignition switch itself, if we want to look underneath the fender, well, let's see if I can get a better view. Right there it is. See that big plastic nut right here? I've already loosened it already, but you can get a pliers or something underneath there and you basically unscrew that so this whole thing comes out. The whole thing is turning on me, so I'm going to get the key in the other side to kind of hold it in place. Okay. There we go. just like that. The camera moves, and then you'll push this through the hole that way. Alright, so this is what it looks like now, and we got to figure out which one of these wires is the ignition. Oh, look at that right there. So let's unplug that thing. And we'll pull it out of the way. There it is. We dropped a plastic nut on the ground. And there is the suspected problem. So let's break out the new one. So when I went online to find the replacement ignition switch for this thing, the Coleman website, colemanparts.com or something to that effect, had the ignition switch out of stock. So I continued to look around because I know these are very similar to the Tao, if that's how it's pronounced, and I was able to find at this VMC Chinese Parts place for about 18 bucks. So let's see if they sent me the right thing. Well, that's promising. See, we got a little plastic on the keys. And I'll tell you what, this part back here on the old one it came apart, so this one's better. It's got the nut. Let's just compare the plug to the old one. Okay, here's the old one. Here's the new one. They look identical. So I think we're gonna succeed. So now we have to feed this now through the hole down there in the fender, back up underneath through here. So I'll work on that a little bit and be right back with you. Oh yeah, and don't forget, take this plastic nut off. Feed this end through the fender and then put the nut back on. I actually have a better idea. Before I go ahead and replace this switch and do all the work to do that, let's plug it in, see if it works. Oh, look at that. It works. We got lights. We got display. And we got a starting unit. All right. Well, let's finish it up and get this thing on the mud. All right, so to get everything put back together, if you'll notice here, there are slots, and on the cover, they've got these plastic tabs. So just like we took it off, we're gonna put it in place, press it down, and then push it up. Make sure it's all locked in place, and we'll put our two screws. Oop, there's one screw, and then the other screw is right here. So, and then we'll put the rack back on, and we'll go for a ride. So I'll leave you there. And I thank you much for watching my video today. Remember, be a problem solver, not a problem.